There is no one like Caitlin Clark.
6 on the shot clock. Clark, a deep three. Has space. She's going to let it fly, and she's going to connect.
Right now, she leads the WNBA in assists.
Her passing is that dynamic. Her vision is that transcendent. I mean, her vision a lot of times, sometimes I think it reminds me of Sue Bird. Other times I think it reminds me of Wayne Gretzky, the way she sees the floor.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
You and I both said she's going to be good because she got 2 skill sets. She can score the basketball and she can assist the basketball.
1. Caitlin Clark has burst onto the WNBA scene like no rookie before her. A walking highlight reel who rewrote NCAA history and drew unmatched attention to women's basketball. But not everyone greeted her rise with open arms. Instead of meeting her with skill and sportsmanship, a few players chose a different path, testing her resilience through physical play, cheap shots, and old-school intimidation. What they didn't anticipate was that their bullying would backfire spectacularly. Instead of breaking Caitlin Clark, it ignited her. She became an unstoppable force, while her challengers faced fines, public backlash, and hits to their reputations. This is the full story of how the league's toughest tried to break Caitlin Clark, and how, in the end, she broke them. From flagrant fouls to social media firestorms, the 2024 WNBA season turned into a battleground, a clash between Caitlin Clark's unshakable resilience and the league's unforgiving physicality. Veterans and rookies alike lined up to test her, but every hard foul, every shoulder check, every late hit only added fuel to her fire, accelerating her meteoric rise.
So let's take another look.
Yeah,
That's where I saw what Lenny was doing.
Meanwhile, the players who went too far found themselves swept up in controversy, their reputations battered by fan outrage and league sanctions. This wasn't just a basketball season. It was a high-stakes drama fueled by pride, jealousy, and the costly mistake of underestimating a rising superstar.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Chelsea was guarding me a ton, maybe a couple times. Jackie was usually the defender that was matched up on me, or when Colton came in. And honestly, they're all really good defenders. They're physical, they're strong. The offensive fouls are definitely surprising at times. I feel like I do get held and get quite a bit of contact throughout the games, and then you get hit with some of those, then you take some contact.
By the end of this saga, one thing was undeniable. Caitlin Clark doesn't just endure contact, she feeds off it. And the players who targeted her? They learned the hard way that coming for a star only made her shine brighter. For a full breakdown of every hit, foul, and the explosive fallout that followed, keep reading. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hard-hitting sports storytelling.
Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
It all began with Kennedy Carter of the Chicago Sky, now with 12 points off the bench, who delivered her own ruthless welcome to the WNBA message. On June 1st, 2024, with the ball dead and Caitlin Clark calmly waiting for an inbound pass, Carter blindsided her with a reckless shoulder check, sending the rookie sprawling to the hardwood. It was a moment that ignited headlines and set the tone for a season of tension.
And Fran Clark.
The hit was so blatant that even the referees, who at first ruled it a common foul, had no choice but to upgrade it to a flagrant after review. But the real consequences didn't come from the league office. They came from the fans, who erupted with outrage, flooding social media with backlash and turning Carter into a symbol of unsportsmanlike play.
Myself together. I know that I'm a vital piece of this team, and I know that I need to be in shape. I need to be ready to go. I need to be mentally ready, physically ready. So all of those things were coming into play while I was sick, while I was out. There were still things that I was doing, basketball oriented, so that when I come back, you guys are like, oh, kind of like you didn't miss a beat. Yeah, because you still have to work when you're asleep and you're sick and things like that. So
social media exploded overnight. Kennedy Carter instantly became public enemy number one, swept up in a tidal wave of outrage that spilled far beyond the bounds of basketball. Her mentions were flooded with vitriol, including death threats, racist slurs, and venomous hate. The backlash was so intense, even her Chicago Sky teammates reported being harassed at their team hotel.
Went over the Fever in front of an amazing home crowd. How does it feel?
it feels amazing. It feels good. I think Skytown really showed up and showed out for us tonight. And it's just great to have fun like that and have a game with that type of atmosphere and get a good win. Good teamwork.
You dropped 23 points on 8.
The WNBA chose not to suspend Carter. But the damage was already done, her name now synonymous with dirty play. Meanwhile, Clark shrugged it off like a scratch, responding the only way she knows how, by dropping 22 points in the very next game. The message was clear: mess with Caitlin Clark, and you're playing with fire.
It was a non-basketball play. It was a dirty play. We know this should have been a flagrant play. It does absolutely nothing for me that the league upgraded this to a flagrant the day after. Caitlin Clark isn't going to get those free throws back. I'm irritated by Kennedy Carter's non-response after the game. And then today, I guess at least she's talking and not turning to Twitter to express herself, but she said she has no regrets. Everybody knows that it was a cheap shot. She blindsided Caitlin Clark in this moment, but what...
The time the dust settled, Carter's reputation lay in ruins. Analysts questioned her sportsmanship, sponsors kept their distance, and even her own teammates stepped back from the controversy. The most telling blow: her cheap shot hadn't rattled Clark, it only made her stronger. Carter's career hasn't been the same since, a stark reminder that in the WNBA's new era, bullying doesn't pay. The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark had already reached legendary status during their NCAA days, but when it crossed into the pros, things took a darker turn. During a June 16th showdown, Reese attempted to block Clark's layup but ended up smacking her across the head in a brutal move that immediately earned a flagrant foul. Reese played it cool post-game, labeling it just basketball, but the league wasn't buying it. They fined her $5,000 and handed out a penalty for her attempt to skirt accountability. But the financial penalty was nothing compared to the cultural earthquake that followed. Angel Reese, already a polarizing figure, became the focal point of a toxic debate about race, privilege, and the unwritten rules of the WNBA. Trolls seized on the moment, hurling racist attacks at Reese, while Clark's white Midwestern appeal elevated her to the status of the league's golden girl, with even politicians weighing in on the drama. Through it all, Caitlin Clark refused to vilify Reese, calmly stating, "We're competitors." That's all this is.
I think we were playing really hard. I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle, but...
Months later, the tension subsided, but Reese's reputation suffered lasting damage, while Caitlin Clark's jersey sales skyrocketed. Reese struggled to shake the dirty player label, a harsh reminder that in the age of social media, one reckless foul can define a career. The irony? Their rivalry had the potential to become the WNBA's next great storyline. But instead, Reese's moment of aggression transformed her into a cautionary tale.
Pointing to this head here, I think they're going to look at us.
Some fouls are intentional, while others are mere accidents. But try explaining that to the internet. During Game 1 of the 2024 playoffs, Connecticut's De'Jonai Carrington accidentally poked Caitlin Clark in the eye while swiping at the ball, leaving the rookie with a gruesome black eye. What followed was a flood of online reactions that blurred the line between a freak accident and malicious intent. No foul was called, but the outrage was immediate. Right-wing pundits like Jason Whitlock falsely accused Carrington of intentional malice, sparking a torrent of racist harassment so severe that Caitlin Clark herself had to step in and defend her opponent. The moment revealed the darker side of fandom and social media, as Clark showed not just resilience on the court but also a fierce commitment to standing up for what was right. The backlash was so disproportionate that it exposed the ugly double standard in WNBA fandom. When Caitlin Clark was fouled, the world erupted, but when she committed hard fouls, and she did, it was just labeled as competitiveness. Meanwhile, De'Jonai Carrington, a black player, bore the brunt of the vitriol, facing violent threats that forced the league to take action on player safety. As for Clark, she played through the injury, logging 36 minutes and shrugging it off with one simple response: "It wasn't intentional. Move on."
It's in a highly competitive situation. I mean, the Sun were probably always going to win this game. I mean, you're talking about like Pistons versus Nuggets here in terms of their position.
They are 10-1.
Right, exactly, in the WNBA.
Yeah.
But I saw athletes.
In the end, D.I. Jonai Carrington became an unintended victim of the Clark effect, where any contact with the rookie sent a tidal wave of outrage. The league promised reforms in response, but the damage had already been done. The takeaway: even an accidental injury to Clark could destroy a player's reputation in the court of public opinion.